If you're a new or a soon-to-be new Tesla owner, congratulations, I've made a list of 10 mistakes that a lot of new owners, even myself, have made at some point. And I'll share that list with you in no particular order so you don't make those same mistakes, and I got a pretty controversial one at the end, but hang with me. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the manual door release. Now this is meant for emergencies only, and first of all, it's good to know that it's even there because for some people it's kind of hidden, but second of all, it's good to know that it is indeed only meant for emergencies. Now if you use the button to open the door, you may notice the window cracks just a little bit, and this is normal, this is good. But if you open the door with the manual release, you may notice that the window might not crack, and this can be bad for the window or the door trim. Now Tesla has fixed this a little bit where it's not as much as a risk nowadays, but it's good to know about the manual door release that it's there in case the power goes out, but it's also good to know to only use it for emergencies. Now next we have an important one, which is to learn and know good charging practices. For your normal daily driving, you never want to charge your car to 100%. The only exception is if you have an older standard range Tesla with an LFP battery, and in this case the Tesla will tell you that it recommends charging to 100%. And if you overcharge on road trips, that's totally fine, but you just don't want your car sitting at or near 100% for a long period of time. Tesla actually recommends to charge to 80% for your daily driving, and this is all to help prevent degradation. Now degradation is normal, that's just how batteries work, but you don't want to increase the rate of degradation any more than you have to. And on the other end, you don't really want your battery sitting below 30% for a long period of time either. Again, if you're on a road trip and you get there with a low state of battery, but you plug in right away, that's totally fine. But a Tesla battery that is spending most of its life between 30 and 80% is a happy, healthy Tesla battery. Now next here, you never want to take your Tesla through an automatic car wash. And honestly, this applies to pretty much every car, but Teslas especially because the paint is just a little bit thinner. And these automatic car washes can cause some swirls or even some small scratches that would require a deep paint correction to actually fix. Now touchless car washes are okay, hand washing even better. You just don't want those big car wash things flapping around hitting your car because that's where you get those paint swirls and some of those small scratches, and you don't want that for your Tesla. Now next here, especially if you have a Model Y or a Model X, you want to set your trunk height. Tesla trunks have a very large opening, which is great until you park in your garage and your trunk opens all the way and hits the top of your garage and leaves a small little dent or a scratch right on the back. You can set how high you want your trunk to open. If you grab the trunk and set it at that height, hold that trunk open button for a few seconds till you hear a little bit of a ding sound. And then from now on, each time you open your trunk, it will only open to this height. If you see any Teslas around with a small dent in the middle of the rear trunk area, they probably opened their trunk in their garage and didn't set their trunk height. And like I said, we've made these mistakes too. So if you see our Model Y with a spoiler on it, it's because we're using it to cover up our small dent that we have from this. Now next on this list, we have a good one for road trips. Even if you know where you're going, you want to make sure you navigate to the Superchargers. And this is because Teslas will automatically precondition their battery for fast charging. And basically what this means is that Teslas will automatically heat or cool the battery, depending on whatever it needs to do, to set the battery temperature at the ideal temperature for the fastest charging rates for once you plug in. However, if you don't navigate to a supercharger, your Tesla won't know it's about to be plugged in, so when you get there, you might not get the fastest charging rates that you could have if you just navigated to the supercharger. Now this next one's probably the most important one on this list, and that is to turn on Sentry Mode. If you don't know what Sentry Mode is, it's the setting where if your Tesla is parked out at a grocery store or wherever you're at, it will use its cameras to record what's happening around it. So if somebody or something comes close to your car, you'll have all of that on footage. Especially nowadays with Tesla, if you're out somewhere and something happens, you definitely want to have some video evidence. And it does take up some battery when you're parked and have it on, but you do have the option to exclude it whether you're at home or at work or at any favorite locations, which can help save some battery if, for example, let's say you just park in your garage at home, you don't need Sentry Mode on when you're at your house. But my point is, you don't want to get door dinged or have something worse happen to you and not have any footage of it. Now this next mistake I made as well. If you want the white interior, just get the white interior. When I got my first Model 3 about 3 years ago, I got the black interior because I thought white would be harder to clean and harder to maintain, but it turns out Tesla leather, that's just not the case. And I can now attest to this as well. When we got our Model Y we've had for a little over a year now, even with our 2 dogs who we take almost everywhere with us, our white interior looks almost brand new. Now, if you're still worried about the white interior, I recommend applying this product every few months. We have this leather shield here. It's just an extra layer of protection in case of any spills or something getting on your white seats. But when it comes to cleaning, we just use a leather spray and a microfiber towel, and it works great. Now, next on my list, maybe a little bit controversial, but we have 2 more after this one. Don't buy full self-driving unless you really want it. Full self-driving is different than autopilot, and every Tesla comes free with standard autopilot. The paid upgrade of full self-driving as of today still requires supervision, but that will stop at stop signs, make turns for you, change lanes for you, and do all that full self-driving stuff for you. And FSD is super cool. The tech is amazing, but if you want something just for road trips, when you're on a road trip, you're on the highway most of the time anyway, and that's what autopilot is really meant for. It'll stay in your lane. It'll keep you a certain distance from the car ahead of you. You can set it at whatever speed you want, and for your road trips, this will do like 95% of your driving for you. So my only point is, don't think that you need full self-driving for road trips to make them easier, because in those circumstances, autopilot is more than enough. Next, we have number 9 on my list, and that is to not cheap out on accessories. And accessories in quotes, because there's some things that Teslas don't come with that they should come with, and therefore we just call them accessories. Like, for example, a center console tray organizer. This space is huge, but unusable without any sort of organizer to actually put stuff in. The carpet formats that Teslas come with are pretty cheap and pretty thin. They're hard to clean, they get dirty so easily. So all-weather formats are also a must-have, I would say. And roof shades. So the glass roof is super cool. It's a very cool feature on all Teslas, but in the summer, it's UV protected, but not so much heat protected. So unless you want your head burning in those summer months, you definitely want some roof shades. And you know that big computer in the middle of your car that controls just about everything? You're probably going to want to protect that with a screen protector. That'd be a very, very expensive replacement that you just don't want to have. And now, finally, last on my list, I have don't upgrade your at-home charging situation. Now, hear me out. If you have access to any standard outlet, like that 120-volt outlet, you can charge your Tesla on the same outlet that you would charge your iPhone on. And yes, of course, it's a slower charge, but if you can plug in overnight, unless you drive way more than most people, you'll get enough range for your daily driving. And that's all you really need, right? Because when you go on road trips, that's what superchargers are for. But if you do drive a lot, you can always upgrade to a Tesla wall connector or a NEMA 1450. I made a whole video about all your options of at-home charging as well. But if you're on the fence or not sure, I always recommend for new owners to get the Tesla mobile connector, use that 120-volt outlet, and just see if it's enough for you, because if it isn't, you can always upgrade it anytime. And yes, of course, having a faster charge at home will always be more convenient, but if you don't need it and you want to save some money, then just go with a normal outlet. But that right there wraps up my list of 10 mistakes I often see new owners make that now you watch this video, hopefully you won't be making as well. So if you're a new or a soon-to-be new Tesla owner, I hope you found this video very helpful. And if you're a current Tesla owner and you think I missed something, leave a comment down below and let me know. But as always, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.